Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's premium review in which we are taking a look at the new Italian Ariete at 9.3 battle rating in the Italian line. This plane is the developed version of the Sagatoria, whatever that name was. I kind of forgot, but that was at 9.0. Same kind of plane, it's just missing that engine there in the back, that extra engine. It has two engines, this one. And that gives it a lot more performance, gives it a lot better energy status as an energy fighter, acceleration, energy retention, performance, climb rate. It's all fantastic in this plane. So that is awesome. She's still a small little target, small bugger of a plane, but you will be facing a lot of 10.3. From what I've seen as I've been playing it, most of your matches will be against 10.0, 10.3. And that is, it can be rough. It can be rough. You're playing a little bit like the I-16 role, but then in jets. You cannot catch up to anybody in the speed game. You are lost. You have no missiles for ranging shots, and so you have your guns and you have your little maneuverable, energy-rich plane that can be fun. It can definitely be fun to get people and to dogfight them. But as we all know, in jets, it's a lot about the speed game that you play, and it can be difficult if you face opponents that don't want to turn with you. But all in all, you face all kinds of players, so you will have your chances and people will make mistakes, and you can climb a lot in this plane and then come in while people are busy and can have your success and your joy in this plane. Now, before we get into the details, do make sure to like the video if you enjoy it, give me a comment, and do make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. Of course, there's a lot more content coming, so do make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. Also, I want to ask you to join me on my Rumble page and my locals. Especially locals is the place where I share non-War Thunder content with you. And that is also the place where you can support me financially if you would want to. So I highly appreciate it if you would take the time to join me there. So let's get into the plane. Now, she's not fast, as I mentioned. The maximum speed at sea level is 1,054 kilometers an hour. Without it's a kind of a web because this thing doesn't have an afterburner, and 1118 width at sea level, 840 kilometers an hour width, and 862 at 4,500 meters, and finally at 6,500 meters you can take this plane to 737 without and 760 width. Now, these speeds are decent for a plane like this, but it is nothing compared to the planes that you will be facing a lot, and so she's a slow plane basically. Top speed in a dive is 1,069 before she redlines and 1,160 before she rips apart. Now, you can already reach that red line in a straight line with the web on, and she doesn't rip until later, of course. So you can do that without danger, but if you pull high Gs, you got to be a little bit careful. Although she does take high Gs for quite a long time, so you do not rip this plane easily, and that is also an advantage and good for its survivability. The control stiffening in the roll rate starts with a fine little tick in the aileron compression at 650, and then you have a second tick at around 800, and then after 800 kilometers an hour you will see rapidly that the roll rate starts to decrease from its very good status from where it begins, because this plane can definitely roll. Stall speed lies around 90 kilometers an hour, which is quite alright. The firepower in this plane is average. You run with two 30mm Hispano HS 825s, and they have 120 rounds per gun, so that ammo load is also average. There is no bombs on this plane, no rockets, and no missiles, so you're just running with those two guns and that limited ammo. You also have only one belt to choose from. That is the default belt, and it's full of high explosive incendiary tracer belts, and that is the only shell that's in that belt. So you only have those, and it's quite alright. It's lethal, I would say. But you don't have the ranging of missiles, you don't have rockets, you don't have bombs, you don't have any ground attacking options. You are basically limited to the energy fighting role, and that's it in this plane. So it's not very versatile, but it is great at what it does. The performance, the acceleration in this plane in a straight line and in a dive are excellent. She also has excellent energy retention both in the horizontal and in the vertical. And finally, the climb rate in this plane is also very good. Great with the weapon. This plane has just absolutely great performance. You will see what I'm talking about when you take this thing off the runway. Usually only the Harriers are quicker than you, and some of the Phantoms can keep up with you, but the rest you just quickest off the runway. You can climb like a maniac, keep up with some of the best even in up tiers. So that is really all, there's nothing to say about that. That's great, and you can do a lot of damage in this plane. Sometimes with the guns you are a little bit unlucky in this, although I mean I've been critically hit by that missile, so I guess in that sense this was lucky. But on the other side, I should have had 3 kills in this match with the 2 crits on those other with good shots. It's unfortunate that I only got 1 and got 2 assists, but you can definitely get 2-3 kills in a match. And I mean, but when you look at the missile game, it is difficult to score high scoring games in a plane like this. You just got to be lucky for things to line up, and for you to finish the planes that you're shooting at, because people, even when you shoot wings off, they might shoot a missile from a longer distance and don't even notice that you actually shot the wing off. And I think still most of the players would say if they see there's a wing off and it's going down, they wouldn't shoot it. But with in this missile ace, I've had several times where I had shot a wing off and I got shot by a missile by somebody else who was further off. So I could have performed better in this plane, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The turn time in this plane is above average, decent with flaps. The flat turn time is not one of its greater aspects, especially some of its counterparts at a 9.0, 9.3 battle rating have better turn rate than this plane. But it's not bad when you look at some of the fighters you will face at 10.3. It will definitely turn better than those. The flaps rip off at around 650, so that's not great with the acceleration this plane has. You're almost always immediately on 650 again, even after some turns, so be careful with those flaps. The roll rate in the plane is very good indeed, and the overall maneuverability, I would say then, is good. There is some overheating in this plane, especially in engine 1 in the oil, and engine 2 seems to be a little bit less susceptible to the overheating, so that's alright. But it is manageable, it cools off easily, and it's not too much of a problem in the end when it comes to that. The plane has decent durability, it can take a hit or two. It's a small target, I feel it's highly survivable, but if you do get hit, it's not fantastically durable. But it is survivable because of that small size, and in the end it doesn't rip wings easily as well, so that's nice. The repair cost in this plane is 5,610 Silver Lions, which is above average. It's not low, so it's for a premium. The rewards in this plane, the research point modifier is 642%, Silver Lion modifier is 615%. That research point one is bad, and the Silver Lion one is very bad, although it is still in the neighborhood of most other premium fighters in this rank at around 9.3, 9.7 battle rating, but it is one of the worst when it comes to that. So I would say they're bad, but they're not very far off. Usually some of them are in the 700s, the late 600s. So it's still comparable, but it's not one of the best, that's for sure. Let's keep it at that. This plane, guys, is an energy fighter and a turn fighter. More of an energy fighter when you are in down tiers, more of a turn fighter when you are in up tiers. It feels a little bit like an I-16, but for jets. You are constantly messing around with speed and planes that are running away from you. Ranging shots like this are iffy. I mean, some people that play a lot of jets might be better at it than me, but this is where you find yourself a lot with planes ahead of you that are much faster, pilots that know what they're doing and that won't make sharp turns in places like this. You will be just running around like a crazy man. But on the other side, there's plenty of beginners in the jets these days with these premium jets that think that will work for them and that make massive mistakes. And in the end, you can also surprise people that are engaging other players and are slow when you're coming from above. With the climb rate, you can definitely reach a very respectable altitude and pick your targets that way. So all in all, I had fun in this plane, let's say. Whether she is worth to buy it, you would have to ask yourself whether you like that role, because you definitely have to adjust and you have to play it smart. This is not the insta winner that some other planes might be for you. You have no missiles, you are slow, and you're playing a calculated game where you try to get people to turn with you, and you try to look for targets that are not paying attention and are in a dogfight with somebody who are slow. That's what you're living off in this plane, and you gotta have to make your own decision. I think it's a fun plane. I had fun. It's good at what it does, but it's definitely not one of the best planes at its battle rating, especially not with all the up tiers you get in this plane. Considering that, it is iffy, and you have to make a calculated consideration to whether this plane might suit you or not. Now let's see what we got. We got our battle victory. Yes, we've got 36,000 Silver Lions and 15,000 research points. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. This plane, man, it is, as I said, it's fun. I find it fun, just like the other one, the 9.01, which was also fun. This one has an extra engine, has better performance, better climb rate, acceleration is through the roof, absolutely stellar. So it is like, you know, it's a little bit of a rocket, isn't it? And it feels great to play when it comes to that. But you will have a lot of up tiers, and you will be up tier to 10.3 most of the time. So you got to keep that in mind. The other planes will be faster than you, way faster sometimes, and they will have 2 to 4 missiles that will be aimed at you regularly. Of course you can avoid, but you will not have any countermeasures, and you will just have your 2 guns with 120 rounds per gun with limited speed. It's going to be an interesting way to play it. As I said before, it feels a little bit like an I-16, but then in jets. It is a small little bugger, difficult to hit, you're maneuverable, you accelerate very quickly, you are great in the turn fight. As an energy fighter, she does its role well, especially in down tiers. I mean, the performance of some of the planes at 10.3, they have awesome performance as well, so they might match you on the energy level, but then you can out-turn them most of the time. So all in all, this is an interesting little fighter. It doesn't have much versatility. You cannot go ground pounding in it. Has no bombs, no rockets, no nothing. Just the 2 guns and an awesome little plane. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.